Once upon a time, in a small village nestled between lush, rolling green hills, there lived a young boy named Tim. Tim was not just curious, he had an insatiable hunger for understanding the world. Every morning, he would wake up with the sun peeking over the hills, eager to see what the day had in store. He explored the forests, climbed the tallest trees, ran across the meadows, and chased butterflies with a laughter that could fill the hearts of anyone nearby. Tim lived with his parents and his beloved grandfather. His grandfather, Mr. Oliver, was a wise old man whose face was lined with the stories of decades gone by. He had lived through hardship and happiness alike and had a way of making even the simplest tale feel magical. Tim adored him and would often sit for hours listening to his stories, sometimes imagining himself as the hero of each adventure. One bright and sunny morning, Tim was playing near the brook that ran along the edge of their village when he heard his grandfather calling. "Tim! Come here, my boy. Come sit beside me under the old oak tree." Excitedly, Tim ran across the garden, his shoes kicking up little clouds of dust. When he reached his grandfather, he saw a serious look on his face, a look that always meant something important was about to be shared. "Tim," his grandfather began, his voice calm yet commanding, "today I will tell you a story. Not just any story, but one about the most precious treasure a person can ever possess. Do you know what it is?" Tim thought for a moment. "Gold? Or maybe jewels, Grandpa?" His grandfather shook his head with a soft smile. "No, Tim. The most valuable treasure is not something you can hold in your hands or keep in a chest. It is something far more precious. And you will learn its value from the tale I am about to tell." Tim settled down beside him, his eyes wide with anticipation. The wind rustled through the leaves above, as if the oak tree itself was eager to listen. Long ago, there was a kingdom unlike any other. It was ruled by a wise and just king named King Alaric. His castle stood atop a gentle hill, overlooking a land of fertile fields, sparkling rivers, and villages filled with cheerful people. King Alaric was loved by all because he treated everyone with fairness and kindness. Under his reign, the kingdom flourished, its markets were full, its schools were thriving, and peace reigned for many years. One day, King Alaric felt that his kingdom had grown strong enough, and it was time to find someone truly worthy to serve as his closest advisor. He decided to host a grand contest, declaring, "Whoever can bring me the most valuable thing in the world shall serve at my side and help guide our kingdom to even greater prosperity." News of this contest spread like wildfire. From the smallest hamlets to the farthest lands, people began preparing treasures and gifts to present to the king. Merchants polished their golden coins, nobles polished their finest jewels, and travelers brought rare artifacts and exotic animals from distant lands. Everyone wanted to prove that they had something the king could not resist. Among those who heard of the contest was a humble farmer named Jacob. Jacob lived on the edge of the kingdom in a small, simple cottage. He owned no gold, no jewels, no rare artifacts. What he had was a heart full of wisdom and a deep understanding of the simple truths of life. When he heard about the contest, many laughed at him. "How can a poor farmer ever hope to compete with princes and merchants?" they sneered. But Jacob only smiled. "I may not have riches," he said to himself, "but I have something even the wealthiest men often forget, the value of time." On the day of the contest, the palace courtyard was transformed into a spectacle of grandeur. Banners fluttered in the breeze, colorful tents dotted the grounds, and the aroma of exotic spices filled the air. The citizens of the kingdom had gathered to witness the event, whispering in excitement as one by one, contestants approached the king. There were dazzling jewels that sparkled like the sun, rare golden artifacts engraved with ancient symbols, and exotic animals that had traveled thousands of miles. Each contestant presented their gift with pride, hoping to impress King Alaric. The king, seated on his grand throne, observed each offering with careful consideration. He listened to explanations, admired craftsmanship, and studied the rarity of each item. But with each display, he shook his head slightly, as if searching for something more than material beauty. Finally, it was Jacob's turn. The crowd turned to see a poor farmer stepping forward. In his hands, he carried only a simple wooden box. Some people chuckled, others whispered, questioning what a farmer could possibly offer. "What do you have to offer, farmer?" the king asked, his eyebrow raised in mild curiosity. Jacob opened the box, revealing only a handful of sand. The crowd gasped. Some laughed openly. "A handful of sand? That's all he brings," murmured a nobleman. "This is the most valuable thing in the world, Your Majesty," Jacob said calmly, holding the sand with reverence. "It represents time." The king leaned forward, intrigued. "Explain yourself, Jacob. How can this," he gestured at the sand, "be more valuable than gold or jewels?" Jacob took a deep breath and spoke with quiet confidence. "Your Majesty, gold can be stolen. Jewels can be lost. Land can be taken. But time is different. Time is the one resource that no man can buy, no one can trade, and no one can recover once it is gone. Each grain of this sand represents a moment of life, a chance to learn, to love, to grow, to do good." The crowd grew silent. People began to murmur thoughtfully as Jacob continued. "Many spend their lives chasing riches, forgetting that moments are slipping away. A day wasted is a treasure lost forever. The wisest and happiest are those who understand the value of each passing moment." King Alaric sat back, his expression thoughtful. He had spent his life surrounded by wealth and power, yet he had never been reminded so clearly of the one treasure that mattered most. For a long while, the king said nothing. The courtyard remained still, save for the gentle rustling of flags in the breeze. Then, slowly, a smile spread across his face. "Jacob," he said, his voice carrying authority and warmth, "you have shown me what no jewels or gold could. Time is indeed the most precious gift, and only someone who understands its value may advise me wisely." With that, King Alaric declared Jacob the winner of the contest and appointed him as his royal advisor. Jacob humbly bowed, and the people cheered, not just for the victory, but for the wisdom he had shared. From that day on, Jacob served the king faithfully. He reminded him to cherish every day, to spend time wisely, and to invest in the happiness and growth of the people. The kingdom prospered even more, guided by a leader who understood the true value of life's fleeting moments. As the story ended, Tim looked up at his grandfather with wide eyes. "Grandpa. So time is really more valuable than gold and jewels?" he asked softly. "Yes, Tim," his grandfather said, placing a gentle hand on the boy's shoulder. "Time cannot be bought. Once a moment passes, it is gone forever. That is why we must use our time wisely, learn from it, and help others along the way." Tim thought of all the days he had spent running, playing, and exploring. He realized that every moment mattered, and that even the smallest act, helping a friend, sharing a smile, or learning something new, was part of life's treasure. From that day on, Tim vowed to live each day fully. He woke up with purpose, helped his friends and neighbors, studied with diligence, and continued to explore the world around him with curiosity and wonder. As he grew older, Tim became known throughout the village for his wisdom, kindness, and understanding. People came to him for advice, and he would always remind them of the story of Jacob and the king. "Cherish your time," he would say. "Use it well, and life will reward you in ways you cannot imagine." Tim's respect for time influenced those around him. His friends began to spend their days more meaningfully, learning new skills, helping others, and appreciating each sunset. The village grew stronger, closer, and happier. Stories of Tim's adventures and the wisdom he shared traveled to neighboring villages, inspiring countless others. Even as Tim became a man, he never forgot his grandfather's teachings. He often returned to the old oak tree, sitting under its branches, reflecting on the passing of seasons and the precious moments he had lived. And in his heart, he carried the lesson Jacob had taught the king centuries ago: that life's true treasure is not gold, jewels, or power, but the time we are given, and how wisely we use it. Scene 6, a timeless lesson. Tim eventually became a teacher and storyteller, passing down the lesson of time to generations of children. He created a tradition of the sand of time, where he would give each child a small pouch of sand and tell them, each grain is a moment of your life. Treasure it, use it wisely, and you will be rich beyond measure. Through this simple act, he instilled in many the wisdom that had changed his own life. And the village, once small and quiet, became a place where time was valued, moments were cherished, and life was lived fully. Tim's story reminds us, even today, that we each hold grains of sand in our hands, moments that cannot be reclaimed. How we use them defines the richness of our lives. Don't forget to subscribe our channel.